Hey girly pops, your resident hot girl is back to teach you a little bit more about the game of football. We're going to be talking about the 2026 FIFA World Cup and a bit about the teams that are participating this year. So I'm going to be honest with you, I am not as switched on about international football as I should be.
I don't understand. I don't know what's going on here.
So I thought I'd take this as an opportunity for you and me to learn together a bit about the teams that will be participating in this year's competition. I am going to be talking about my home country, South Africa, for this first installment of this series. I'm going to be getting a bit into the potential players in this year's starting lineup. As the series goes on, we will probably have more information regarding the different teams that I will be talking about. But currently the starting lineup for this year's selection has not been selected. So I've compiled a list of the hopefuls that may or may not be selected for this year's starting lineup based on the information I have available. So we have not been in the FIFA World Cup since 2010 when we hosted, which, law drop, if I get the photos from my dad, I will insert them here. But I was actually in the opening ceremony. So if you see here, there's the image of the world, if that makes sense, made by the little sheets. I was one of those little sheep children. I was 10 years old. I did not look how I look now, thank God. And yeah, I was not at my peak. I was not in my best. But you know what? You grow, you change. So I was there. Yeah, I think I was part of Eurasia actually. So yeah, we have not been in the competition since then. And now is our maiden voyage back into the competition, showing you what we can do. I'm hoping that we make it at least to the quarterfinals. You know, optimistic but realistic.
And what gave you the confidence?
Delusion.
I believe it's achievable. I believe in them. Talking to my best friend, and she suggested I go over a few rules of play of the game because she herself does not freaking understand football. She is a Man United fan, however, but you know, from the sidelines, and she believes from the sidelines, and just thought it would be informative for some people to learn a bit more of the rules of the game so that when you go into watching it, you might have a better grasp on what's going on. You might also see her on the channel soon. Look out for that video. And while we're at it, I would really appreciate it if you could like, subscribe, comment down below if you enjoy this content and want to see more of it. I have my cheat sheet regarding the rules to explain them. So the game is made up of two 45-minute halves. Obviously there's overtime, adding additional minutes to the end of those 45 minutes before halftime and before the end or close of the game. There's a maximum of 11 players on the field at any given time. Players are not allowed to handle the ball whatsoever, and the goalkeeper is only allowed to handle the ball within the goal scoring box confines, within their penalty box. Outside of that, they are also relegated to using their feet only. How offside works is a player is offside if they are ahead of the second last defender once the ball is played to them. So they don't have to touch the ball, but the ball has been put into play in their direction once they have already passed the second last man in defense. That is then an offside position. Okay, let's get into the history of the South African national team. So they are called Bafana Bafana, and their first foray back onto the world stage after sanctions upon the fall of apartheid was in 1996, where they went on to win the AFCON competition back then and united a nation, if you ask me. It's actually spurned into a documentary series called Class of 96. The Class of 96 documentary has been described as a true story of grit, unity, and a nation coming together to support its national treasure and rising to victory. They participated in the 98, 2002, and 2010 World Cup, and now we are back for the first time since 2010 in the 2026 World Cup, and we will be participating in the opening match against Mexico in Mexico, which is, if you remember correctly, back in 2010, a rerun of our opening match against Mexico. A rematch, if you will. Okay, so let's get into some of the players. The first player I will be talking about is goalkeeper Ronwen Williams. The current club he plays for is Mamelodi Sundowns. Pretty cool club, if you ask me. Not too far away from where I am sitting right now. And his first cap for the South African national team was on the 5th of March 2014 in a friendly against Brazil. One of his favorite players is the goalkeeper Edison, as he believes the goalkeeper should play a more active role in gameplay, and he believes Edison exemplifies that example in his own personal gameplay. Some interesting information about him: he has his own foundation called the Ronwen 30 Foundation that allows youth to be empowered through the game of sport. We're gonna move on to goalkeeper Sipochena. I've heard it pronounced so many times, so if I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry. He plays for Orlando Pirates, and he had his first cap for South Africa in September 2024 in the African Cup of Nations qualifiers against South Sudan. We currently do not know who his favorite player is, so if anyone knows, if he is watching this video, let us know down below.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Who is his favorite player currently? Could be past, could be present. I'm just curious. Something about his gameplay that is quite interesting. He is notorious for saving a penalty. He has the ability to keep his foot on the line as he stretches out to save the ball, and it is something you can always expect from him on the field. Another goalkeeper, and our final goalkeeper of the segment, Ricardo Goss, plays for
Supersport United.
first cap for Bafana Bafana in October 2019 against Mali in the Nelson Mandela Match Challenge. One of his inspirations in the sport growing up was Brian Baloy. He even wanted to have dreadlocks to look more like him. He actually started as a striker in his youth career in football and then changed to goalkeeping later on, and even jokes that he started goalkeeping because he hated the running involved with being a striker. Love a funny man, like actually comedian.
I love this man, and I have to have him.
The next player in the lineup is Oswin Apelis. His current club is Orlando Pirates. He was called up to represent South Africa in December 2025 for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. He plays as a winger or an attacking midfielder, so he plays as a forward. His favorite player is also unknown. Again, if you know, let me know. So I'd love to find out more. Like, I'm so curious about who people idolize their gameplay, or who got them into the sport, or who they just currently rate as a player. It's very interesting. His playing style has been compared to that of Eden Hazard by fans. He also has admitted to being an avid gamer. He plays Call of Duty and FIFA outside of football in his free time.
Do you got games on your phone?
Now we have Lyle Forster. He's also another forward. He currently plays for Burnley in the UK. He too was called up in December 2025 to participate in the Africa Cup of Nations 2025. His current favorite player internationally is Sadio Mane, and then he's named a few other South African legends as idols of his or people who have inspired him within the sport, namely Benny McCarthy, Stephen Pienaar, and Quinton Fortune. He was actually the youngest debutant into the PSL for Orlando Pirates at the age of 17. He's also a big advocate for mental health and prioritizing your mental health, as he himself has personally struggled with mental health struggles within his life and is very, very passionate about it, which I think is really important to have, like, advocates in these predominantly masculine spaces be very open about prioritizing your mental health and your mental security, because I think like a lot of young boys just don't have those outlets currently. As progressive as South Africa is in general within the African continent, it's still quite conservative when it comes to certain topics, and mental health is one of them. So I think it's very important to have people in the upper echelons of these industries talk openly about mental health and mental health struggles to normalize it and destigmatize it for young people coming up. Now we have Rele Mofokeng. He plays for Orlando Pirates. He made his debut against Zimbabwe in June 2024 as a substitute for Oswin Apelis. He plays an attacking midfielder or winger as well. He has noted Temenkosi Lodge as his favorite player and childhood idol. He's actually quite an awarded young man. He's won the Premiership Young Player of the Season and the Nedbank Cup Most Promising Player Awards in 2024. Now we have Mohau Nkota. He plays for Al Ettifaq in the Saudi League. He made his international debut for the senior South African team in June 2025. He plays a winger position, and his favorite player is Lionel Messi. He actually broke his arm in a bicycle related incident when he was younger, and his mom actually banned him from playing soccer as a result. So he basically had to sneak out and like secretly play soccer behind her back until she had agreed to let him back on the field, like legally, if you will, like with her permission, which is crazy. Like, I guess this was his dream, this was his goal, and he wanted to continue, so he did what he had to do. But I just find it so funny. Like, he was probably just like, okay, let me just like jump out my window. Like, that's what I imagine. I'm sure that's not how it went. To go and like secretly play soccer, of all things that you're gonna break out of the house basically to do, which just shows like his dedication and his, I guess, love of the sport and the game. We have Elias Mukwana. He plays for Al Hazem in the Saudi League as well. He got his first cap in December 2025. He was called up to play for the South African squad in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. So clearly you can see like quite a lot of these players are relatively new to debuting for the South African squad actually. Like we have quite a young lineup of players. And he's a winger as well. His favorite player is currently not known. Another person I'm very curious about. I think it gives you an idea of like the type of play they want to emulate or idolize or look up to when you know like who on the field they're looking at and thinking, wow, I really love the way that person plays, or I love their energy that they bring to the sport. I'm just always curious about that. In just 4 years, he went from playing for an amateur football team like here at home for playing for the Tunisian Giants, Espérance Sportive de Tunis. He scaled quite quickly within the sport, which is quite cool. I believe he's currently on loan to the team that he plays for in the Saudi League and is contracted under Espérance still. So I'm curious to see where his career goes. We have Evidence Magopa. He plays for Orlando Pirates. He got his first call-up and debuted for the South African team in 2021 in June against Uganda. He is a forward, and his favorite players are Paul Pogba and Lionel Messi. His nickname is actually Tower because he's 188 centimeters tall, so he's quite a tall man actually. And he didn't actually play football in high school like for a specific team. He came to it later in life more seriously, which is also quite interesting. So he actually found his love for playing, or like his talent in playing, later in life. So it's never too late to start. Andre Campbell, he's another forward. He plays in the position of a winger. He plays for Club Brugge in Belgium. He got his first call-up for the national team in December 2025, again to play in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations. He notes Bernard Parker as a major influence and role player in his football career, and he's actually family friends with him. He actually made history as the youngest player to ever sign with SuperSport United's first team. Okay, we have Ikram Reyners. He plays for Mamelodi Sundowns in his club career. He started his international career with the South African team in 2023. He plays in the position of forward, and he actually became the first South African player to score 2 goals in a single FIFA Club Cup tournament in 2025 with Mamelodi Sundowns, which is a pretty cool accolade to hold. We have Tebogo Mokoena. He plays for Mamelodi Sundowns as well. He got his first cap for South Africa in the 2018 African Nations Championship qualifiers. He plays as a midfielder. His role model in the sport is Cristiano Ronaldo, and he has noted that his work ethic, business acumen, and mental toughness are his reasons for admiring the famous player. But he's quite an industrious guy. In order to save money to play football to achieve his dreams, he used to sell sweets from grade 4 for 4 years. He sold sweets in order to make enough money to support his football dreams, which again like just goes to show like how much grit and mental toughness that also took. He said, this is my goal and I'm not going to let my financial situation stop me from achieving it, and I really admire that. Obviously, I need to acknowledge that in South Africa, we have quite like a wealth disparity, and to see like someone being like, you know what, this is my dream and it's not going to come to me by wishing and hoping. I'm going to do what I have to do to make it happen is crazy. Like that is a sign of the dedication he was going to put into his career going forward, that he worked so hard from the age of 10, realistically, even 9 potentially, to get here by sacrificing that time and energy he could be putting into other things and prioritizing to be like, no, I'm going to make this work, whatever it takes, and I'm going to do it myself. Talente Mbata, he plays for Orlando Pirates as well. He debuted for the South African national team at the 2025 AFCON qualifiers in September 2024 in a game against Uganda. He's also a midfielder, no idol to speak of, so I guess we'll never know. And he actually was a top achiever in school, like he was extremely book smart, and he could have pursued a career in psychology if he didn't go on to become a professional footballer. We have Tshepang Moremi. He plays for Orlando Pirates as well. Quite a lot of Pirates players represented here. He made his national team debut in 2024 in the 2024 COSAFA Cup. He also plays as a midfielder, and it was actually voted Orlando Pirates best player in September 2025. So he's quite talented, if you didn't guess by the fact that he's here in this lineup. We have Spelelo Yaya Sitole. He plays for the Portuguese club Tondela, and he made his debut for the South African national team in 2025 for the Africa Cup of Nations. He plays as a midfielder, and he actually got his nickname due to his resemblance in play to Yaya Toure. Batusi Obas, He plays for Mamelodi Sundowns. He was called up for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations to represent South Africa, and his first game was against Morocco. He plays as a midfielder, and he actually enjoys playing chess in his downtime. I wish I could be like him. I played chess when I was younger and I've completely forgotten all the skills. I feel like it's so mentally fortifying as a game, so I'd love to get back into it. Maybe I'll like get the mental strength one of these days to actually prioritize getting back into chess. Maybe this video will motivate me. We have Sipho Mbule. He plays for Orlando Pirates. He debuted for the South African national team in December 2025 for the Africa Cup of Nations 2025 as a midfielder. But he's currently not been as active playing, so it is calling into question his potential selection for the 2026 World Cup, as obviously you need to get as many playing minutes as you can in order for them to see you and think, oh, this person is important. However, he has been lauded by the coach as a very good player at controlling the game tempo, so he is an integral part of the squad potentially going into the competition. So I hope he starts playing more frequently. Whatever it is that's keeping them from putting him in the lineup is addressed. And his nickname is actually the Master Chef due to his ability to cook up and create goal scoring opportunities. Umduduzi Shabalala. He plays for Kaizer Chiefs, and he played his first game for South Africa in October 2025 against Rwanda in the World Cup qualifying. He plays as a midfielder, and his idol is actually Lionel Messi. He actually grew up as a very die-hard Orlando Pirates player, so it's quite ironic that he now plays for Kaizer Chiefs. Tylan Smith. He plays for Queen's Park Rangers in the UK. His first call-up to the South African national side was for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations as well. He heavily admires Grant Kekana's style of play, and he was actually shortlisted for the 2025 CAF Young Players of the Year award. Like, imagine being held up as one of the best, or considered one of the best players in Africa out of the large lineup. Like, he is very, very, very talented, and I can't wait to see where his career goes. Kulumane Indamane, he plays for Mamelodi Sundowns, and he got his first call up in June 2025 to play in a friendly against Tanzania. He is a defender, and his football inspiration is given Msimango. This is actually a little bit of like a sadder, interesting fact. Something that had happened early on in his career that was very unfortunate for the young player, but I guess a learning lesson, was he was called up sooner to play for the national team for the first time, but did not have a passport, so he couldn't travel with the team and ultimately couldn't play. I guess no one realized that he didn't have a passport until it was too late, which is actually something that taught me a lesson, like reading the story and how he looked at it. Like, he literally is quoted as saying he was just happy to be playing for the PSL, so the national team wasn't even on his mind. Then suddenly God made things happen so fast, he missed out, but he learned from the mistake, and now he has his passport at least. So hearing this story, I remember thinking, like, feeling or being reminded of how ignorant I have been in my life. Like, I think I was far too old, like potentially in early high school, when I realized like not everyone has a passport.
I may not have a brain, gentlemen, but I have an idea.
I think I was like 15 or 14 when I realized not everyone has a passport. I don't know. I've always had a passport since I was a baby because I have a lot of family that live outside of South Africa. My granny used to live in the UK, so in order to visit her, I would need a passport, obviously. And so I've had one like since I was little, and I always just assumed everyone had passports. Like, you just automatically get them upon birth. But there's so many people that have never had like opportunities or needs to travel outside of the country, so why would they have a passport? And I just remember thinking like, wow, this is such a privileged or like insulated take on my part, when I realized that was not the reality for everyone, that like having access to, let alone you have to pay for them as well to be made. So like not everyone has the money as well to put towards getting a passport made. Obviously in this position that's not the case, but I'm just saying in general, like, people don't have the money to have a passport. They would love to go on a holiday, they don't have the money for a passport, let alone to go on a trip outside of the country, you know. So that like limits so many people's opportunities to experience the world and like learn new things and see new things, because they don't have the means to even get the passport, even if the opportunity to go is for free. And so I just, wow, I like really felt like the maturity in his outlook on the situation as well, because I'm just thinking like, if that had happened to me back then, I definitely would not have like the emotional maturity to take that on the chin and be like, you know what, it was a mistake and now I've learned from it and let's keep it moving. Like, I'm just happy to be here. The one time my passport was expired and I was supposed to go on holiday, I was so annoyed. And that was like 2023. That was not, or 2022. I was an adult and I was still like, oh my god, this is so annoying. And I was going to take me 4 weeks to get a new one, like one inconvenience. I can't even fast track them, like complaining. And it just like shows you like some people are just so like emotionally mature, and like it really gives me hope for like the role models that like a lot of young people who look up to these players have, because they are so much more like level-headed than sometimes some older people can be in the same scenario or situation. We have Aubrey Modiba. He plays for Mamelodi Sundowns as well, and he earned his first cap for Bafana Bafana against Lesotho in 2016. His favorite rapper is Lil Wayne. I don't know if this is still accurate because this was in 2023, and since then I feel like we've seen the deterioration a little bit in Lil Wayne's performance quality at the very least. So who knows if that is true anymore, but if it is, you know, he has some bangers. And his nickname on the pitch is actually the postman because he always delivers. It's like that meme, like, she's not pregnant but she always delivers. I hope that's me. I hope I always deliver for you guys. Yeah. We have Mbekezeli Mbokazi, and he plays for the Chicago Fire in the MLS. He got his first cap for South Africa in May 2025 in a friendly against Mozambique. He plays as a defender. He actually became the youngest captain of Orlando Pirates when he was 19 years old since Umbelelu Mabizela Samukelo Kabini. He plays for Molde in the Norwegian League. He made his first appearance in September 2025 for the national team. He plays as a defender, and he is actually a product of the Orlando Pirates development system. I will say, looking up this man was a bit difficult. Like, he's quite mysterious. He's quite a mystery man. Like, if he is out there, please let us know more information about you. Who's your favorite player? Like, something funny and interesting about you. Like, I'm so curious because there's just like this shroud of mystery almost over you because there's just so little available information online. But maybe he prefers being an offline individual. Who knows? Kosinati Sibisi. He plays for Orlando Pirates. His first cap for the South African national team was in June 2021 in a friendly against Uganda, and he plays as a defender. He actually modeled his gameplay after a former Orlando Pirates player, Mbulelu Mabizela. He was actually appointed as captain, so he's currently the captain of Orlando Pirates for the 2025-2026 season, and they're having a rocket season this year, so congrats to him, claps for him. Kolisa Mudau, he plays for Mamelodi Sundowns, and he earned his first cap for Bafana Bafana in March 2022 in a game against Guinea. He plays as a defender, and his favorite player is Dani Alves. He has actually been recognized as one of the best dressed players in the league. He has never seen a designer item he does not like. And I love when people turn their whole life into a fashion show. Sometimes it's okay to care about dressing up. Because if you don't wear your clothes, when are you going to wear them? And fashion is a cool way to express yourself, your character, your personality. I know some people don't take that seriously. Some people don't prioritize that. But I think it's cool that he has found solace in fashion or interest in it and has prioritized it as something, a special interest of his, if you will. We have Siyabonga Ingezana. He plays for Mamelodi Sundowns, and he earned his first cap for South African national team in the 2028 COSAFA Cup. He is a defender. His actual dream come true was playing against Manchester United in the Europa League, because he grew up supporting the team, and now he is there like playing against them. I think that is one of the I've made it moments for a lot of players, is like, oh, these people I grew up watching, maybe they were on a poster on my wall or dreaming of having their jersey and or even wearing it, and now I'm like on the same level as them, you know, competing against them on the same stage. I think that is a very like eye-opening, like, oh my goodness, like I've made it, I'm here, like I'm somebody moment in your career at the very least. And I'm really proud of him. Like, he achieved a dream, and it's really cool to see people living in their truth and their dreams. On a not so nice note, he actually was heavily criticized in his tenure for Kaizer Chiefs, was not well liked. I guess maybe his performance in that squad wasn't what it needed to be. Who knows, multitude of factors could have played a role in that. but he actually went on to leave, obviously, and join the Romanian league and be awarded best foreign player and best defender in the Romanian Super League. So clearly he took that low moment and made lemonade out of his lemons, theoretically. It's really cool to see. He said, you know what, this is what I want to do with my life and I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make the best of it. Clearly they saw something in him in that Romanian team to pull him in the first place, but it's just like, wow, like he took that, he learned from it, whatever he learned from that time. You know what, you're not the sum of your worst days, and this is clearly a sign of that. Another thing that, you know, looking up at these players thinking, oh, someone went through a rough patch, but here they are, they're still succeeding, they're still thriving, they're still trying their best. Oh, and he also actually plays the piano, so he's not just good on the field. We have Tolo Matuludi. He plays for Polokwane City. He was called up for the first time to debut for South Africa in the 2024 COSAFA Cup against Mozambique. He is a defender, and currently the streets are saying that Orlando Pirates has some interest in signing him, so who knows, by the time the World Cup comes around, he might be representing a different team. Time will tell. Another person who is a bit mysterious, not too much information about him out there, so I'd love to know more. Finally, we have Thabo Molesane. He plays for Stellenbosch FC. Actually, I was saying this, but I would love to get into supporting a PSL team, so let me know who I should be looking out for. Obviously, as a Joburg girl, my two teams options would mainly be to stay loyal, Orlando Pirates or Kaizer Chiefs.
Being at Chiefs and being at Pirates, it's not the same. There might be both big teams, but the culture there at Chiefs and the culture at Pirates.
So yeah, let me know down below, which team should I look into? Which teams should I be keeping my eye on, prioritize getting to know more about going into the next season? Side note, getting back into this player, he made his debut in the 2024 COSAFA Cup against Mozambique, and he plays as a defender. His favorite player growing up was Thabo Matlaba, and he actually almost quit football, completely heartbroken by the sport, lost his love for the sport, and said, okay, I'm going to take one more chance on this game. If it doesn't work out, I'm done with it, and went to Cape Town All-Stars, and there he reignited his love for the sport and he found his way back to it. It's never too late to keep trying at your goals. But that is it for this video. If you like this format, if you love this video, let me know down below. Like, comment, subscribe. I would love to hear more from you guys about which teams you want me to do going forward. I plan on doing every single team participating in the 2026 World Cup for this series, and I'd love to know who you want to see next. I have a few ideas on which teams I want to focus on, but let me know down below who you want to see next, and until next time, I'll see you next time.